Hi everybody, GaylaWick here, Denver Love Coach, and I'm so excited today because I have with me Karin, aka Annie. You know I've been talking to you about it in my blog, for those of you who read my blog. And guess what? We have some bubbly here because we're celebrating. Congratulations, Karin got married.
Thank you.
Yes, and she's so excited and I'm so excited. So I asked her to come today and answer a few questions because you all hear from me all the time. And so I thought you might like to hear from somebody who went through my program and got married. So I'm going to put my bubbly down. I know I hate to. Last drink. One more cheer. Congrats.
Yay.
Love bubbly. But yeah. I know you all don't want to sit here and watch us drink bubbly. You want some answers. So, Karin, one of the first things that I want to know, and I think my audience would like to know too, is what made you actually decide to take the love coaching program?
Well, I had dated for several years, some good dates, some not so good, and I was tended to go into every date with the anticipation: is this the guy? Is this the guy? Fast forward, I'm in Colorado, relatively new, and dated again, and it wasn't super successful. And I said, I really need to find some girlfriends' activities to just get involved. So I happened to go to a women's seminar, and it was a really interesting seminar, a lot of fun, and we had some breakout groups. And in one of our breakout groups, Gayla was in my group, and we were supposed to identify a trigger that really kind of held us back, made us upset about ourselves. And I couldn't think of anything for myself, so Gayla came out. She said, I'm not good enough. And I went, oh my goodness, that's how I feel. I never felt like I was good enough. Too hard on myself, but not good enough girlfriend, not good enough worker, not good enough mother. Perfectionist. And it was really holding me back. So after that breakout, I had some discussions with Gayla, and I was so impressed with what her former career was and all the research and time she put into her love coaching program, finding out what works and what doesn't work. And I said, that is pretty cool. I said, it would be kind of fun to meet with her in one of her groups and try this out. So I did. I signed up.
I am so glad you did. I just have to tell you, it's been really fun getting to know Karin and working with Karin because she was a great client. And one of the reasons that she was a great client is that she actually decided to fully embrace the program. And I know in the beginning we had this conversation about, wow, it's 3 months. And I just loved it when you said, you know what, that went by really quickly. And so I wanted you to, well, before I ask you another question, I just want to make a comment about what Karin said. That is a common thing that women tell me, is that they don't feel worthy of love, they don't feel good enough, they don't feel some version of that. And they have a confidence issue. And one of the little quick tips I'm going to give you in this video is men are not looking for you to be confident in your job or in many other things. They're looking for you to be confident as a woman. And so that's one of the things that we really talk about. And we go over the whole context of what being confident means and how it makes you feel. And when you feel confident, I know you talked to me a little bit, Karin, about you just had this transformation about your level of confidence. And I think some of the things in the course contributed to that. And if you'll remember, we did lots of exercises, meditation, watched movies, read my book, had gratitude practice. So do you want to comment about how some of those things you think affected you?
Well, it was a transformation of I used to doubt a lot of what I did and not good enough, not perfect. And we really addressed that a lot, of appreciating who you are and being your authentic self rather than trying to be someone that you're not to please somebody else. And we did focus on what are you proud of? And of course we were just laughing a few minutes ago about women who are always, oh, my eye's this, or my hair is that, or oh my God, look at the skin on my arms, all those silly things that we do, oh, my neck is sagging. So we were commenting about how women are so hard on themselves. You just need to take a breath and relax and realize that you have value. And if you're smiling and engaging and just being yourself, and not being hypercritical, that goes a long way. So we did focus on a lot of that and being who you are, not trying to be some image of what you think the man you're meeting or the people you're meeting want to see.
That is perfectly said, because as you know, I've said this a few times in the blogs over the years, that you really need to decide to be who you are. And hopefully that means your best self, not your worst self. But when you're not yourself, that energetic of not being yourself is read by another person. And the man that you want to meet is like you. He wants to be in an authentic love relationship. Wouldn't you say that that's true?
Well, if you're pretending to be somebody else, that's not going to attract the man you want to be with. So if you're energetic and outdoorsy, be energetic and outdoorsy. Don't dress up all prissy and perfect with jewelry and perfume if that's not you.
Right.
And when you go on a date, just engage in conversation. This may or may not be your husband. Maybe you don't even want to get married, but just have fun. A date is about having fun, and that was the difference for me. Instead of getting nervous when I went on a date, I would go out and say, I'm just meeting a person, and we're going to talk about his life, and we're going to talk about my life, instead of the 20 questions interview, like we gotta figure out whether we're going to go forward this or not. And honestly, I had several dates. I did go back on Match, but with a different perspective, because it is a good way to meet more men as opposed to trying to meet them in the grocery store or a bar, which we don't really do anymore. But just to enjoy being with a person and sharing your life. And then I came away from a lot of dates. No, I don't want to go out with you. You're not the man for me. But hey, let's be friends. Let's shake hands. We had an enjoyable dinner. And some you do go forward with, but that's kind of another story, how you approach that.
Sure. Well, I remember when you were first in the program, and really after you did the follow-up program too, which was great, because I think that, like many women, you had a previous relationship, and for a variety of reasons, it was sort of standing in your way.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to talk a little bit about that and what you learned and how you got past that?
Well, long story short, I did move to Colorado, and my relationship was with somebody who was in another state that I came from, and we broke up amicably. But every time I went on a date and it didn't work, I was like, oh my gosh, I left the man of my dreams. I should have stayed with him. And your brain won't let you go, but your heart keeps, pulling you back in. Your rational side says move on, and you don't want to be alone, so you keep falling back to this old relationship. And I knew it wasn't going to work. Great guy, but wasn't going to work. So we actually worked on that too, and she gave me a challenge to say, do not communicate with this man for 6 months. No, 6 weeks. Do not email, text, phone call. And I even told him, I said, this isn't helping me, this friendship. So I cut it off for the 6 weeks. And it really did help me clear my head to focus on now. Not so much the future. Enjoy every moment now. A lot of this program is about positivity and living in the now. And it kind of ties to the power of the universe and thinking positively. So if you're going to be putting yourself down, or you're going to doubt your relationship and your relationship possibilities, then you're not going to be as successful. Say, I am a catch. I'm going to find the man of my dreams, but I'm not looking for him. He'll find me, I'll find him. It'll happen when I'm not paying attention. And that's really how it happened to me.
That was so exciting when you called me and told me you thought that you had really met someone and that you both were going to be exclusive with one another and pursue it. And then I was really happy when you and I met just for a follow-up coaching session, and you shared the news that you were getting married. So that was awesome. So you just got married. So how are you feeling now?
I am ecstatic. I'm like a giddy kid in this relationship. I mean, we've been together 15 months now. We got married after 14 months and have been living together for a little while. But it's a relationship that's easy. No relationship's perfect. You do have differences of opinion sometimes, but I have to say, don't go for somebody just because you don't want to be alone. No one should ever make you feel bad about who you are, and I've had a few of those in the past. we have such a good relationship, commonalities, and I'm learning from him and he's learning from me, and we have so many fun adventures together. It's just a very relaxed relationship. And you also have to make a point of, I guess this is getting beyond the course, but making a point of keeping it fresh by never taking each other for granted. And we just have so much fun. Who knew, and I'm 60, so who knew at 60 that you would find the love of your life? The journey was long, but it was definitely worth the time.
I'm so glad you shared that, because I meet women all the time that tell me that they're too old, or that they were married for so long and now they're divorced and they just feel like that they had their chance. And ladies, please do not say things like that, because I met the love of my life, and I've been married now for 13 years, and I had a long marriage. I was married for 23 years to a man that I did not have substantial compatibility with. And those of you who've read my book or read my blogs know that that's my term, substantial compatibility. And my marriage to my husband today is night and day to my marriage. I have had clients get married who were married for 27 years to essentially the wrong guy again, and they tried really hard. And I don't know about you, Karin, but one of the things that happened to me when after I did, took me forever, but after I did decide that this marriage was not going to work after 20 plus years, was when people would ask me how long I was married, and I would think to myself, oh God, that's embarrassing. Oh, do I really have to say 20 years or 23 years? And then I got it. I was like, that just shows you how hard I tried. So you know what? I don't apologize. I tried really hard. And I think you did too.
I had a 25-year marriage, and we both tried very hard, and it was not a good compatibility. There were differences. But we did try very hard, and I finally said, my mantra was, if it's not working, you get one life. If it's not working, change it. Give it a shot, work hard, but if it's not working, change it. And that applies to the dating too. If you haven't been successful, you have to be open-minded with this course. She gives you some funny little things you have to do to try to get you to think out of your comfort zone. And you have to be willing to say, hey, maybe I wasn't right the way I was approaching that. Because a lot of women, we all talk, and I've talked about this program to a lot of my friends. A lot of people, I can't do that. I can't do it. This is who I am. Okay, well, then that's okay. You keep doing that. But I found it to be extremely helpful. And what you were referring to, the I can't and all the things that you say are negative, we call them limiting beliefs. I'm too old. I'm too, I can't even think, not pretty enough.
Limiting don't have enough money in the bank.
We made a whole list of things that we thought why we couldn't find, the right man. And then we worked on them and realized it's mostly in your head. So if you believe in yourself that you have a lot to offer, if you're a shopper, find a guy who likes to follow you around with the shopping bags and go shopping, because there are guys out there like that.
Well, there really are, and that goes back to my term, substantial compatibility, because as you said, with every couple, there are going to be things that you are different on. But substantial compatibility is about really enjoying the bulk of activities together.
Yes.
I mean, there are things you're going to want to do separately. There are things that you're going to want to do together. But if you don't have anything in common, let me tell you, you're in for a lot of conflict. And I think that's really what happened in my first marriage, was we just grew apart, and ended up where he didn't like to do anything I like to do, and I didn't like to do anything he liked to do, and you really lose that emotional connection, which is like the death of any relationship, when you lose the emotional connection. Mm-hmm. You might relate to that.
Not exactly. My situation was quite a bit different in the respect that we had on the books, and paper, mm-hmm. we were very compatible. Okay. Sports, the things we like to eat, to travel, working on our house, we were very active. But there were emotional and personality differences. He was rather intense and a bit controlling and manipulative, and I don't tend to fight that. So it became difficult after a while. And I said, again, I don't want to wake up at 60 and go, what have you been doing with your life? So I got divorced at 50. and it was like breathing fresh air. So what are you going to do with your life now?
Exactly.
Just
exactly. And what's it going to
have
look
fun.
like? You know, I think the question I ask myself is, what's it going to look like in 5 years or 10 years if I don't get out of this situation that is really painful for me? What's my life going to look like versus I have an opportunity to really have a relationship that my heart deserves. And I know you finally found a relationship that feels in your heart, in your soul, so much different.
He was just, from the very first date, you do your date, you have a drink, or you have a little bite to eat, and of course you're sitting there looking, sizing each other up. You can't help it, you're trying to, we try not to do the 20 questions, but there's usually the how long you've been married, do you have children, what do you do, the basic. Trying a little bit, because you want to see some compatibility. So after about 20 minutes, he said, hey, you want to go dancing? Because there was a dancing place right behind where we were. I said, yeah, I like to dance. Well, we both love to dance, and we're still dancing like a couple of times a week. Nothing formal. We do our own thing, but we have so much fun. And it showed us that we had a tremendous chemistry. And from there, I grew up I was a sailor growing up, years, and golfing. And he's a motocross cycler, all these things that I hadn't done before, and I'm doing them now. It is so exciting to just work outside your comfort zone and learn new things and appreciate. If you're that type of person, if you want to wine and dine and live in a penthouse, that's a whole different thing. Do you like to travel? But find somebody who has a lot of interests the same as yours. We know somebody recently whose daughter has a boyfriend, and she travels a lot, and he doesn't go on airplanes. So we're like,
Oopsie.
Is that a deal breaker? There are deal breakers, and then there are red flags. Red flag is, can I live with this? Chances are, if it's bothering you at 2 or 3 months, it's not going to go away.
Right. It's going to really bother you if you decide to live with it every day. One of the points that you made that I really want to emphasize is, when I say substantial compatibility, that is not an excuse for not trying something new. As Karin said, she tried something new because that's what her new husband is into, and she tried it and she liked it. And that's really important, because the older we are, the more set in our ways we can get. And we can think, oh, I don't think I would like to do that, but maybe you really would if you tried it, because we all get things sort of in our heads about things. And I know that happened to me. My husband is a scuba diver, or was, and I'm not even a snorkeler. And I do not like my face in the water. I adore the water, love hanging out in the water, but I don't really like my face in it. So he wanted me to try snorkeling, and so I did. And I hated it. I have to tell you, I hated it, because all I could think of was, my face is in the water. Oh, I don't want that thing on the top of the mast to go under the water, and I don't want to breathe water. And for me, I don't know what my problem is, but my ears were just freezing cold from the water being in my ears. So I had the worst time ever. He had to hold my hand the whole way going around the reef, and the fish were really beautiful.
Obviously, it wasn't a deal breaker.
But no. And so he's like, honey, I've been snorkeling like 1,000,000 times. I couldn't care less if I ever go snorkeling again. I just wanted to see if you would enjoy it. So the answer was, no. So we had a good laugh about that. But again, your point, well taken. You have to be willing to try it. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, if you don't, then this isn't the person for you.
Exactly.
So.
And I realized that, in the beginning we were talking about the course. My group coaching course is 3 months, and sometimes that sounds like, oh my gosh, that's a long time. But I think what you said, I'll let you say it. You thought the course was long, but then you found out it went.
Yeah, but I cheated. I went on a date. I told you I did.
She told me she was going to cheat.
Did, but I wasn't getting. Yeah, it was. Somebody asked me, and he was a nice guy. But it didn't change my focus on the course. The nice part about the follow-up that happens after the course is over is, when I work out and when I do diet and that sort of things to try to improve myself, I can only go so far on my own. So it was accountability and sharing some of my dating experiences and thoughts, and she always took notes and always emailed me her thoughts afterwards, and a lot of them were very helpful and encouraging, and we just had fun, and we've become friends since the course is over, because she's so excited because I got married.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Well, and not all my clients are local, and so this is a treat. The last one of my clients that got married is not local, and so I didn't get the chance to really sit down with her, and so I just told you all about it, and so to have you local and have the ability to sit down and talk with you has been really great. So do you have any other just sort of last words of advice or wisdom about the course and or anything else?
Well, I was very hesitant to call, when I tell people about Gayla and her course, and I've several friends who are very open-minded to it, but I always hesitate to say, when I told my husband about this course, when we were dating, I said, yeah, I went to a love coach. I mean, that sounds so, to me it did. But it's more about coaching you to be confident in yourself and how to approach dating, to not let men treat you in any way of disrespect. They should earn you. I don't know how to say that. But
Right.
It's more about putting your head in a good place to date so that you're not doubting yourself and you're not putting out the wrong vibes, you need to be positive. So it really was a mental adjustment more than it was, she's not going to go find you a husband.
No.
And it's not necessarily about finding a husband. You live a better life if you are presenting this sort of yourself. Easier with friendship. You could just find a boyfriend or friends, but I think ultimately, and I have to say too, it's been probably 20 months since our course ended, or a year and a half since our course ended, and I met my future husband. So you can't put a time limit on it. You can't say, oh, we finished the course after 3 months, and it's going to be another 3 months, and I'm going to have the man of my life.
Right.
Enjoy life. Enjoy life in the meantime. Stay in contact, because it really, really was great, and the course was fun. Wasn't super intense, and if there are a few people in the course with you, we share ideas, and you know how women are.
Right.
Me too.
Yeah.
Or no, don't do that. So it was a lot of fun. I highly recommend it because, like I said, it was fun and it was extremely helpful for my headspace and confidence.
Well, Karin, I just cannot thank you enough for doing this video. I hope you all loved it and hope you got something from it, and who knows, you might see us again on a video. I think even though she was a video newbie, I think she might want to do it again.
And
Who
you play
knows?
these back and
Yeah.
you just go, oh my God, so bear with us. We're having fun.
Anyway, we're going to finish our bubbly and celebrate Karin's new marriage. And thank you so much for doing this, Karin.
Oh, you're very welcome. My pleasure.
Thank you. And
To
thank
you,
all.
ladies.
Yes, to all the single ladies out there, contact me. I can help you. I want to interview you and find out what's happened with you, because you can have the love relationship of your dreams. You really can. I totally believe that. I don't care how old you are. Okay? Cheers.
Cheers.